Read a Stoic quote as soon as you wake to prime your mind for action. The following quote by Marcus Aurelius is a good one to start with. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm? So you were born to feel nice, instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being. Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? You don't love yourself enough. Or you'd love your nature too, and what it demands of you. Reflect on the quote, talk back to Marcus, and set up your intention for the day. Morning journal or meditation journal, meditate, or even better, do both as early as possible. In this article, I share my morning journal template. Takes only about 5 minutes to do each day, and also a 10-minute guided meditation. Deep read Stoicism, 20 minutes. Read a book or article on Stoicism, classic or modern, for 20 minutes. Each day acquire something that will fortify you against poverty, against death, indeed against other misfortunes as well. And after you have run over many thoughts, select one to be thoroughly digested that day. This is my own custom. From the many things which I have read, I claim some one part for myself. Seneca. Read slowly, and as if the piece was written about you, and then settle on one idea from the book that you will think about throughout the day. Make a note of this idea. Here is the library of my posts. You want to start here. Articles modern, practical breakdowns of the best ideas in ancient Stoicism. The Stoic Handbook by John Brooks, cold shower meditation. Either end your regular shower with a few minutes of cold water, or have the entire shower with cold water, hard mode. Practice yourself, for heaven's sake, in little things and thence proceed to greater. Epictetus. Put the water on cold in the shower, take 10 deep breaths, and set a timer for 10 minutes. Now enter into the cold water. After a week of this, you will start to look forward to these cold showers. Cold exposure is a great tool because it is unpleasant but good for us. This trains our discipline to take on more difficult tasks in other areas of life. If you're skeptical of the benefits of cold exposure, here's a solid science-based overview. Mirror death contemplation, to 2 minutes. As you look into the mirror, contemplate your dead ancestors and your own mortality. Alone in his room, as he listens to the sound of his own wheezing, he doesn't feel much like an emperor anymore. Just a feeble old man, sick and dying. He turns his head to one side and catches a glimpse of his reflection on the polished surface of the goddess Fortuna's golden statuette by his bedside. His Stoic tutors advised him to practice a mental exercise when he noticed his own image. It's a way of building emotional resilience by training yourself to come to terms with your own mortality. Focusing his eyes weakly on his reflection, he tries to imagine one of the long-dead Roman emperors who preceded him, gazing back. First he pictures Antoninus, his adoptive father, and then his adoptive grandfather, the Emperor Hadrian. He even imagines his reflection slowly assuming the features depicted in paintings and sculptures of Augustus, who founded the empire 2 centuries earlier. As he does so, Marcus silently asks himself, "Where are they now?" and whispers the answer, "Nowhere," or at least nowhere of which we can speak. Donald Robertson, How to Think Like a Roman Emperor for Marcus Aurelius. Look into your face in the mirror and contemplate your ancestors who came before you. They too looked into a mirror, now they are not here. Imagine the old version of you looking back at yourself. Realize that death will come for you as it has for everyone else. If you want to experiment with a guided death meditation, you can do so here. Dress to, not impress. 5 minutes. Dress plainly, without any need to impress anyone. Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Marcus Aurelius. Where possible, Wear the clothes you'd wear even if you were spending the day on your own. Dress for yourself. Do not wear uncomfortable clothing just because it looks good. Dress in simple clothes. Set a clear intention for the day. What skill do you want to practice? Compassion? Focus? Work on this goal for the work session. If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. Before you begin work, clear your mind for a few moments and create an intention for work. Make this intention internal and based on an area you can improve. Think of this as a performance statement. Example: every time I get distracted, I will make a note of the distraction, then return my attention to the task at hand. Before you begin work, get clear on this intention and imagine yourself using it during work. Doing the work on your current task with everything you have. Don't dawdle and multitask. Use your work for a Stoic practice. If you seek tranquility, do less. Or, more accurately, do what's essential. Do less. Better. Because most of what we do or say is not essential. If you can eliminate it, you'll have more tranquility. But to eliminate the necessary actions, we need to eliminate unnecessary assumptions as well. Marcus Aurelius, Book 4, Meditations. Whatever you do at work, do it with complete care and attention. If you serve coffee, work as if the coffee house belongs to you. Try to put love and warmth into every action. Focus only on the tasks that matter most. Every time you feel resistance, go into it, remaining focused. Generate motivation from within, not relying on anything external. When you find yourself getting distracted, take a few breaths and recite your intention from your pre-work contemplation. Say it with meaning. One of the coolest things about life is that each moment presents us with the opportunity to start again. There is an incredible power to this idea. Begin again. Feel free to use visualization exercises too. One I particularly like is called Taking Souls by David Goggins. You aim to work so focused and hard that you take the souls of those who watch. This is a fun description, of course, not a morbid one. For example, if you work as a bricklayer, when you go to work you do such a good, efficient job. All the other bricklayers and work people are shocked and feel like underperformers in comparison. This is a visualization for your benefit. In the end, what matters most is your own intention and opinion of yourself. Communicate with empathy, assertiveness, and respect. Practice letting go of insults. Begin each day by telling yourself, "Today, I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. All of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. But for my part, I have long perceived the nature of good and its nobility, the nature of evil and its meanness, and also the nature of the culprit himself, who is my brother, not in the physical sense, but as a fellow creature similarly endowed with reason and a share of the divine. Therefore, none of those things can injure me, for nobody can implicate me in what is degrading. Neither can I be angry with my brother or fall foul of him, for he and I were born to work together, like a man's 2 hands, feet, or eyelids, or the upper and lower rows of his teeth. To obstruct each other is against nature's law, and what is irritation or aversion but a form of obstruction? Marcus Aurelius. Before you work with anyone, keep a realistic perspective as Marcus Aurelius did. You will meet with people who rub you the wrong way. This is an unavoidable part of life. Even so, try to practice talking with everyone you encounter with empathy, assertiveness, and respect. EAR. If you encounter difficult people, see it as a great opportunity to practice virtue. If you get insulted, look for some truth in what they say and zoom in on this. If you cannot do this, your ego is controlling you. If you genuinely try but cannot find any truth, why get upset? Ostwork reflection. Make a note of 3 things you did well in your work. Reflection is key to learning. Now that your work is complete, think of 3 things you did well and feel genuinely happy with yourself as you think about them. For some reason, we like to get caught up a lot on things we do wrong. But one of the best ways to get better at something is to zoom in on all the things you did well. This keeps you inspired in the long run. Many faults just auto-correct over time. Greetings. A new beginning. Don't be a victim of your relationships. Start fresh in a way that empowers you. People were made for one another, so either instruct them or put up with them. Marcus Aurelius. In our relationships with family, in every interaction, we can find all previous experiences with said person folded into it. Have you ever found that with some people you are walking on thin ice? One wrong word or action, and either you or they get triggered and an argument ensues. Of course, this argument didn't really start today. It may have started months or even years ago. Is this wise? Is this way of showing up in your relationships going to help them? When you greet family members, try to let go of the past and start today as a new day, a new relationship with them. As Marcus said, we should instruct people we have issues with or put up with them. Complaining and being passive-aggressive is futile if you desire tranquility. Every day is an opportunity to start a new relationship with anyone you choose. The student sage, learning from others. Make a note of something you have learned from the people around you. 1. From my grandfather Ferriss, I learned good morals and the government of my temper. 2. From the reputation and remembrance of my father, modesty and a manly character. 3. From my mother, piety and beneficence and abstinence, not only from evil deeds but even from evil thoughts. And further, simplicity in my way of living, far removed from the habits of the rich. 4. From my great-grandfather, not to have frequented public schools and to have good teachers at home, and to know that on such things a man should spend liberally. Marcus Aurelius. Even though Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome and a masterful Stoic, he would still attend Stoicism lectures into middle age. He saw himself as a lifelong student of Stoicism and wisdom in general. In the opening to Meditations, he lists the things he learned from family members. How beautiful is this? Many of us like to complain about the traits of our closest family members and friends. But Marcus saw each person he met as a mentor, possessing magical traits which he would do well to take. With your own family, always be on the lookout for what they can teach you, and make a note of things in their words or actions that you respect. You will be shocked at how much better your relationships become with people when you take the frame of, what can I learn from this person? Contemplate that every goodbye with someone might be your last. As you kiss your son goodnight, whisper to yourself, he may be dead in the morning. Whenever you leave a family member, remember that our time here is limited and precious. You or they may not be around in a year from now. They may not even be around tomorrow. Write a self-improvement book to yourself. Write a self-improvement book for yourself, just like Marcus did. Here, instead of reading another person's book, write a book to yourself. This is what Marcus Aurelius intended with his book Meditations. This book was never meant to be published. Marcus wrote advice to himself. This is an amazing concept. You already know so much. You already know how you should behave and how you should not behave. Write about it. Yoga, or different physical activity. Do a difficult physical activity as a form of voluntary discomfort. Yoga has improved my balance and flexibility, reminded me of the importance of play, and made me acutely aware of how little control I have over the contents of my mind. But besides conferring these and other benefits on me, yoga has been a wonderful source of voluntary discomfort. While doing yoga, I twist myself into poses that are uncomfortable, or that in some cases border on being painful. I will, for example, bend my legs until they are at the very edge of a cramp and then back off a bit. My yoga teacher, though, never talks about pain. Instead, she talks about poses giving rise to too much sensation. She has taught me how to breathe into the place that hurts, which of course is physiologically impossible if what I am experiencing is, say, a leg cramp. And yet, the technique undeniably works. Socrates encouraged his students to stay both physically and mentally fit. Yoga is a fantastic exercise that can increase mindfulness, flexibility, and strength. It can be done anywhere for free, and it is also a great practice for voluntary discomfort. If you have had an active day, do simple stretching yoga. If you have had a sedentary day, Do a slightly more intense yoga flow. Evening meditation. Reflecting on day. Reflect on your day, paying particular attention to areas you could improve on tomorrow. One of the best ways to level up your practical wisdom is to analyze your behavior each day. You can do this in journal form or in a mental contemplation. Simply ask yourself the following questions. What did I do well? What did I do not so well? What should I do differently tomorrow and moving forward? The most important one is what you're going to do differently. So really try and make a plan to implement your desired new behaviors. Below you'll find some deeper resources on how to reflect at the end of the day. Wake up early. Rise with the sun or before to have ample time for your morning routine. Stoics valued the quietude and stillness of the early morning hours. Morning reflection. Begin your day with a moment of reflection. Consider what you're grateful for, what you can control, and what virtues you want to embody throughout the day. Reflect on Stoic principles such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Meditation or mindfulness practice. Spend some time in meditation or mindfulness exercises to cultivate mental clarity and resilience. Focus on your breath or engage in a body scan to ground yourself in the present moment. Journaling. Write in a journal to reflect on your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Consider writing down your goals for the day, any challenges you anticipate, and how you plan to approach them with a Stoic mindset. Stoic reading. Take some time to read from Stoic texts or other philosophical works that inspire you. Reflect on the teachings of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, or Epictetus, and consider how their wisdom can inform your daily life. Physical exercise. Engage in some form of physical activity to energize your body and mind. This could be a morning walk, yoga, or a workout routine. Stoics recognize the importance of maintaining physical health as part of a balanced life. Healthy breakfast. Nourish your body with a nutritious breakfast to fuel your day ahead. Pay attention to what you eat and how it makes you feel, practicing moderation and gratitude for the sustenance it provides. Setting intentions. Before you start your day's tasks, take a moment to set intentions aligned with Stoic virtues. Remind yourself of the principles